Hello and welcome to that Fabric Guide. Today I'm going to have a very short video for you where we will be diving into V-ordering in Fabric Lakehouses. Because recently, earlier this year, Microsoft announced that they will not enable V-ordering for Microsoft Fabric Lakehouses by default. In the past, they used to do this, and V-ordering greatly enables read optimization. So if you're using Power BI DirectLake, for example, V-ordered delta tables in your lakehouse will greatly enhance the performance of Microsoft's Power BI's DirectLake. However, this is also very computationally expensive to do, and it will not be optimum for write-heavy operations. So earlier this year, earlier 2025, V-ordering by default was disabled from new Microsoft Fabric workspaces and lakehouses. Today I'm going to show you how you can check whether your lakehouse or whether your Spark session is V-ordered by default, and how to set V-order for certain tables. Let's dive in. All right, here we are looking at a Fabric notebook, and this notebook here contains a few code samples that I've created for you guys in order to show how we can work with V-ordering. So the first thing we can do is to check whether we actually use the V-ordering default in our current Spark session by running this command, and I get false right now because the V-ordering is not enabled. Now what I can do is I can start setting this configuration. So using spark.config.get, I can find the value of a configuration. Using spark.conf.set, I can set that configuration, where the first argument is the configuration and the second argument is the value. So if we change this value to true and we run this command, we've now set the V-order default to true. We can find that this indeed has been the case. Now we set it back to false, and we will validate that it is indeed now set to false. Now what happens if I start creating a new table? Let's first delete the existing table here. There he goes. Let's change this name to be sure, because name is a reserved keyword. And in creating this table, I'm now using SQL, as you can see here, in order to create a table. Let's refresh, and we find that we have a customers table in here that contains the ID and customer name. All right, that's cool. So now if we want to check the table properties for this table, we can do so by running the following SQL command. Oops, there we go. We run show table properties for dbo.customers. And we will find that there is no table property here for the V-ordering. Now what happens if we create a new table, and we create a table called customers V-order. Let's put it in the DBO schema as well. So we can run this create table now on the DBO customers V-order using table properties. V-order default is true. We can then refresh our table list. We can find that we have that table right here. It's set right over there. And we can now find the table properties by running SQL commands. Show table properties for DBO customers V-order. And here we can now actually find delta parquet V-order default value set to true. So we now know that for this table, this is actually a table that contains V-ordering. Now, if we have our existing table, our dbo.customers table, let's put dbo there as well. We can then alter this table and set the table properties by running this alter command. And we get an error. And this is quite strange because this is actually coming straight from Microsoft documentation. So if we look at the documentation right here, we can find the Spark SQL. Let's see here on a table property that we should be able to change the table property directly from here. This is, I think, a configuration error that is coming from, I think, from the Delta API maybe. I'm not quite sure. So some Spark settings should be set here. And luckily, we can do so using these configurations in here. So we need to set this setting. We do spark config.set enabled, and we set that value to true, like that. Because this is probably a Microsoft custom Spark setting that is not being recognized by the Spark engine, something like that. So let's now try again to set this thing on dbo.customers. And there we go. Another reason I'm showing you all the struggling that I had with the issue is that in preparing of this demo, I struggled through it. I could have then easily prepared this already for you guys. However, then when you're struggling yourself, then you wouldn't have seen how you can actually debug. So the struggling part is actually quite alright, I think. Now let's show the table properties just for dbo.customers. We just changed that table property here. So let's see what's now going on. It is not showing me. Oh yeah, it is. So it's now showing me that the view ordering default is set to true here, while it was created actually in a false setting. So what you've seen today is that you can create tables in a few different ways. You know that you can create tables using Spark SQL or Python Spark or directly from a data frame. And depending on the settings in your Spark session, you will be creating those tables view-ordered or not. When you create the tables view-ordered, they will be optimized for reading data. So that's actually cool if you use Power BI DirectLake, for example. I enable view order on all my gold tables in the gold lakehouse. If you're having write-heavy tables, then view ordering might not be that great for you, and then you would probably keep the default or set the tables explicitly to use view ordering to false. You know how to find the view ordering behavior. You know how to set the view ordering behavior both from a session level as well as the individual table level perspective right now. So that's it for today. I promised it was a short video. It became a little bit longer than I thought. But anyways, happy learning. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Over 100 people have subscribed already since the few weeks that I've started. I'm super happy with that. But we're going up for the 1,000 subscribers right now. So please subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next week.